Coming into your ears live from a basement in New Jersey.
But it's not live.
It's not live, though. The Scott and Smiz Show.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Scott and Smiz Show podcast. Of course, my name is Anthony Smizaski, and, well, Scott isn't here right now. That might baffle you considering this is the Scott and Smiz Show, but instead, we have one of our sports experts making his ultimate return, the one and only Oliver Rached. So welcome back to, I guess this is the Ollie and Smiz Show we're going to do today. So feel special.
I do. I feel like I got big shoes to fill.
How does it feel to be a podcast host for the very first time?
I'm hoping you're going to carry it, you know. I'll take credit for it at the end of it, but we'll see how this turns out.
Yeah. Well, primarily today we're here to talk about sports, of course, and there's a lot going on in sports because football season is finally upon us.
You're playing my tune.
How many months, how many days have we just been waiting? How many preseason games have we watched just awaiting when these games actually can matter?
Oh, yeah.
And what makes it even more interesting is that not only the fact that football's underway, but there's so much going on with the NFL. I mean, all this stuff with Deflategate. You know, if Deflategate finally, we think, coming to a close. But, you know, we've learned a lot more about these cheating New England Patriots, in my humble opinion. And I wanted you, Ollie, to give the listeners, as well as myself, a little more detail to these new revelations that have come out recently through the ESPN investigation and these hearings and everything like that, just to refresh everyone on why I'm calling them the cheating New England Patriots.
Yes, and you're not wrong to do so. And, you know, it's really terrible. It gives the league a black eye, and it's really frustrating to deal with because all of America waits on their hands and knees for football to come back around, and we've been marinating in this 7-8 month long investigation. And you know what? You said that you think it might be coming to a close. I think just the opposite.
You think it's just starting?
Oh, and the fact that they're going to continue this, the league, how are you going to do this to the league? You got opening day coming. The commissioner of the league's not even coming to the game for his own safety.
Well, did you hear his reason? I was listening to a interview that he did in response to all these issues and stuff like that, and he was talking about, you know, why he's not going to be at the opening game. His claim was that he was at the last two New England Patriots games, the AFC Championship and the one prior. So that's his reasoning as to why he's not showing up. And also that he doesn't want the spotlight to be on him. Because he knows that if he's at a New England Patriots game, especially the opener, they're not going to be looking at anywhere else except Goodell and Brady. That's it.
I hear you, but you know what? 40-something million that he gets paid annually should buy you a better excuse than that. He's not going there because he doesn't want the attention. He's going there because he doesn't want to get killed.
Yeah.
All right. But just to get back to, you know, the last time I was on this podcast, I had broke it down. We were talking about deflated footballs and all.
Right.
Throw that out the garbage. If you think that this 7 or 8 month dilemma, the courts and everything is about deflated footballs,
it's way more than that.
This is a power struggle. This is a commissioner that's being pulled on both sides by different owners. And you know what? Leading up to this investigation, he was buddy with Robert
Kraft,
yes,
the owner of the New England Patriots.
Absolutely. And you know, behind the lines, I don't know if you heard the ESPN report.
Yeah, outside the lines.
Outside the lines, I apologize.
Right.
They've got some information that really makes you
it's some real dirt. You know, I was
is.
hearing a little bit of the report yesterday, and it's really, really sketchy.
You know what? If it turns out to be true, and it looks like they sounded like they have quite a few sources. I heard something like 70 executives, coaches, personnel, etc.
Yeah.
And it sounds like this isn't about Deflategate. This is about Spygate.
Yeah.
This sounds like Robert Kraft had really put his chips in to get Goodell the job as commissioner after Paul Tagliabue left. And it paid off for him with Spygate, because
Right.
if you read the report, then you know that it almost became a federal investigation.
Oh yeah, they almost wanted to have hearings up on Capitol Hill.
Absolutely. And then what happens? Well, tapes that get destroyed.
Yeah.
That's
And the way that they got destroyed, hearing that in a conference room in Gillette Stadium, 3, I believe it was NFL officials, literally stomped on these tapes with their feet. Like,
the only
this
thing
sounds like something out of some movie.
Oh yeah, the only thing more barbaric than that is if they would have started a bonfire and just started throwing the tapes in there.
Right, like it just sounds like, you really could make something out of this entire cheating scandal, because what was it now? They got 40 alleged cases where the New England Patriots were taping the calls.
Oh, they had it going back to the Super Bowls in the early 2000s.
Yeah, and they won 3 Super Bowls in that time frame.
And you know what? You don't want to discredit champions, but it's really difficult to really honor them.
Extremely.
Especially because of how many, and then you start to see, well, maybe it's not the fact that they were better or better coached. Maybe they were just doing a little more than other teams were and stepping across the line of what's legal and what's not.
Exactly. And I one thing, just in my opinion, that, took this whole Deflategate, going back to this issue, and really, they should have went after the Patriots, I feel, the organization as a whole. And Bill Belichick, when they asked him these questions about the deflated footballs, and he went and just said, ask Tom Brady. Yeah. This became something about Tom Brady instead of the New England Patriots. And, while they might be one and the same, I feel that the NFL would have been a lot better off and a lot more successful if they just went after the organization due to their prior history.
I could definitely see that, especially because of how well-liked Tom Brady is.
Exactly.
And people aren't linking him to Spygate. He wasn't the one holding the cameras, etc.
No, that's on the organization.
But you know why I think they might have not gone after the New England Patriots? Because they're headed by Robert Kraft, and that's a very powerful man. He's one of the more powerful owners in the league.
Right.
And he was a buddy, and it's a shame. But how can you continue this?
Right.
This is a mess. This is an embarrassment for the league.
It really is.
And the fact that these people are now linking it to Spygate, it's exhausting. Exactly. Let it be over. Let football season start. I think Roger Goodell's got to drop it. But you know what? I don't think he's just playing to his own tune. I think he's got the majority of the league owners of the other 31 NFL franchises telling him, you know what? We're going to keep going after him because they're sick of it.
Yeah, I agree. So, with that said, speaking of Roger Goodell, it really raises a very provocative question, a question that's been going on ever since last year with the NFL and all the issues that they've had with domestic violence and things of that nature. And that's the question of, should Roger Goodell resign or be removed by the NFL as its commissioner based on all of these issues, not just the way that he's handled the New England Patriots from day one.
Yes.
But also just the way he's handled all these suspensions. One thing that's been interesting is how, all over the place he's been with these punishments. There's no real equal playing field on, you do this, you get that. It seems that, he's looking at the politically correct culture that we're around and just, trying to appease two people for that certain time frame.
I agree with you, and you know what? While he is trying to appease people, he seems to be one step behind every time. He seems to be a reactionary instead of anything else.
And the worst part is, no matter what suspension or punishment he dishes out, he never seems to get it right.
Oh yes, and even if he does nowadays, nobody's gonna accept that it's the right decision because he's under so much fire, and he's just his image has been taken
tarnished.
Yeah, definitely.
Just altogether. So, do you think he should resign or be removed?
Listen, I'm going to ask you a very straightforward question. If you were making $40 million, forget all the fight, no matter what, everybody knows there's pressures in your job. You always got somebody pointing a finger at you telling you you're wrong. Okay? If you're making $40 million, are you stepping down?
No.
Okay. So let's go to the flip side.
Because you will never be commissioner of the NFL again. That is you only live once. sort of, I guess, mantra to live by.
Oh yeah, this is the one where if he leaves, he's going into the sunset and he's retiring.
Right. In other words, it's not going to get much better than this.
No,
I'm
absolutely.
running the National Football League, the most popular sports in the United States.
You're in movies, people. You know, you're
Everything.
the face of the NFL.
You are the guy.
Absolutely.
No matter how much bad PR you get, and no matter how much money they give you, you are the commissioner of the NFL. So when it comes to resignation, I guess you could throw that out the window based on the way you answered that. But what do you think about the owners removing this guy? Because keep in mind, you know, he really isn't. He hasn't, you know, made friends with Robert Kraft anymore based on this situation. He's burned that bridge entirely, and I don't think he's. I mean, I guess you could say he was appeasing to the rest of the owners because he handled this situation aggressively, even though he was defeated in court.
Yes.
Better than he did Spygate.
Another time.
Right.
Another time being defeated in court. That's like his 6th out of
Yeah,
6.
that's what I heard. He's never won when they take it to court.
Let me tell you something. In a sense, and it's gonna be funny to hear this, I kind of feel bad for the guy. I do think this is the plan by the other owners in the league, the majority of them, to have him push this forward. But at the end of the day, he keeps taking these punches for the league, and eventually he's just gonna become too great a burden for them to take anymore, and they're just gonna kick him out.
That's
and the only thing that's keeping them from that right now is $105 million. That's supposedly the amount of money they'd have to pay him to buy out his contract.
No kidding.
And hey, even to a billionaire, that's no chump change.
Oh, really? But going off of these other, you know, there have been these other, like we were talking about, the controversy over these punishments being issued, and a big issue that was raised, and it's still raised to this day, is the domestic violence issue that has occurred in the NFL. Really came to a head last season with Adrian Peterson and his child, as well as Ray Rice. We still got the Greg Hardy situation. He's going to actually try to appeal his 4-game suspension that the NFL gave him this season, which is already brought down from 10 games. And if anyone has listened to the domestic violence report of Greg Hardy and what he did, I think, well, for one thing, it's inexcusable, but you really, like, how is this guy, how is he still playing football?
That's a mystery. And listen, what Ray Rice did was no pretty sight. We all saw it.
Right.
But I think if anybody saw what Jeff Hardy did on camera.
You mean Greg Hardy?
Greg Hardy. I apologize.
Not to be confused with the wrestler.
Hardy Boys.
Yes.
Correct. What he did if you saw that, we're talking about guns. We're talking about, this wasn't just a hook in a public area. Yeah. This was in privacy, and this could have got bloody. This could have got deadly.
Yeah, been awful.
And you know what?
Worse than it was.
Yeah, and he gets the privilege to come back and play. And we don't see that same privilege going to Ray Rice.
Right, and that's, I also wanted to ask you, like, I feel like Ray Rice, you know, what Ray Rice did, once again, inexcusable. Horrendous. I think we can obviously get that discussion out of the way. But doesn't the guy deserve at least one more chance in the NFL? Yeah. If, like, you know, and that, especially if you're gonna, you know, you got the Adrian Peterson situation, he's back playing fine, whatever, he's back to normal. Greg Hardy, 4 games, and he's gonna be back on the field.
Yes.
So, you know, what did we really learn? I think it all comes of, like, do you think it comes down to the fact that we saw what Ray Rice did, as opposed to we didn't see with our own eyes what Greg Hardy did?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's one of the things that goes into it. We saw it. You know, everybody knows if you've had parents and you were growing up in adolescence, as long as your parents could hear about it, that's one thing. You'll get in some trouble for it. But if your parents actually see you doing something they frown upon, it's tragic, you know?
Right.
So, and that's what all of us had to grapple with, is that we saw the ugliest moment of Ray Rice's life.
Absolutely.
Where we didn't see that with Jeff Hardy. So it's
Greg Hardy.
Again, unbelievable. It's great. I'm sorry, Jeff Hardy used to be my favorite wrestler, by the way. So. But the second part to that is that I think Greg Hardy is in greater demand. I think running backs are now a dime a dozen, and I think if you follow Ray Rice's career dating back to Rutgers, there is not a lot of tread on those tires. And the fact that he's now approaching 30, and he was coming to his last days in Baltimore, if you saw his last season before he was suspended.
It was also pretty much like, you know, his prime was over.
Yeah.
He's no longer in his prime.
The risk is not worth the potential reward. So
That's
I
very
think that's
true.
what it comes down to also.
And I think it's just, the image is tarnished because you literally saw an image.
Oh.
And that right there is just going to completely screw him forever.
Oh, yeah,
and,
you can't forget about it.
Right. No matter how long his wife stays with him, no matter how long everything, no matter how many apology tours that he decides to go on. At least I thought that some team like the Oakland Raiders or something would at least give him the old college try, but they didn't even, no one gave him a chance.
And you know what?
And now I think he's done.
It's also tragic because the whole thing got played out publicly because of the videos, because then you also had his wife come on stage and apologize for getting punched in the face, and then you have Ray Rice on stage, and so many things are going through his mind from what the teams probably told him to say and PRs told him to say. He forgets to apologize to his wife sitting right next to him.
Did he really?
Yes.
I didn't even see that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. It was a mess. They fumbled the ball. It ruined the guy's career. We do not condone, please take this into account, we do not condone his actions.
Absolutely not.
There are people that have done just as bad, if not worse, that have continued to play in this league.
Yep.
And he got the short end of the stick. When you're making millions, listen, we understand. A person's half rational, half emotional. But you can't let the emotion get the best of you, especially when you're making millions. You're under such a small microscope. And that's what he did. But he's not the only player. You've got people, look at the 4th of July thing with JPP.
Oh, yeah.
And what happened with him.
Yeah, well, now that the fact that he's finally decided to turn up and show up and say, hey, guys, I'm ready to play this season, Meanwhile, doctors have been trying to get a look at that finger for about a good 2 months now. It's unbelievable now. There was something that was asked yesterday on another talk radio show, and I thought it was so funny, where it's like, imagine when he's getting examined by those doctors. Do they start with the lighter stuff, like check the pulse, a cough here, cough there, or they just go straight to the finger?
Oh yeah, I think you got to start with a finger count, right?
Yeah, it's like let me see those hands.
Yeah.
Let me see those hands.
Oh man.
But can you really expect anything from Jason Pierre-Paul this season with this fireworks injury?
I'll tell you, it's hard to imagine you can. But apparently, according to him, he just put up on Twitter that he'll be back and he's going to help the team.
He can say that shit till the fucking cows come home. And you know what? It's not going to matter a single thing if the doctors aren't going to clear you to go out in that field.
Yeah, for him, that whole quote, that's not about football. That's not about his teammates. It's about one thing. Money. He's in a contract year. They're trying to franchise him, and I don't know whether I heard that he didn't sign the franchise tag.
He still hasn't.
Which is, if it's on the table, guy, I don't know who's advising you.
Yeah,
you're not at your prettiest moment right now. You've got to.
Do you think anyone's gonna come up and say, "Hey, I got a better deal"? The franchise tag would be $14.8 million. Do you think anyone's going to go around and say, hey, I got 16 on the guy with 9 fingers?
And you know what? To answer your question, if we can expect anything, I think you should take a look at his response to the franchise tag. He's not willing to bet on himself. He's not at a good moment right now. You take that money and you bet on yourself to do good this year, and then you show people it was just one mistake. But the fact that he didn't says, I need a long-term contract right now.
Because I need to make sure that I'm financially secure.
Absolutely.
So that's scary.
Oh.
And I'm a Giants fan, so needless to say, that's the last thing that I needed.
Who knows when he's going to be ready? They gave no indication.
Initially, they were like, he could play this week for all I know. Coach Tom Coughlin was alluding to all these things, but now it's like, doctors didn't clear you.
And you know what else is also troubling? Hey, put the fingers aside, put all the jokes aside. This guy has missed all training camp. This guy hasn't been there since July 4th. That's 2 months.
Yeah. So you're unprepared just based on the fact that you missed camp.
Absolutely.
You have no idea what's going on in the defensive strategy and things of that nature. So why, besides the fact that you're Jason Pierre-Paul with 9 fingers, why would they start you?
Oh,
even if he was healthy.
Exactly. And here's the question. You have people who come into the league and they're not in football shape. They get picked up in the middle of the season or whatever, and you can see their bodies wear out quickly. Mm-hmm. There's being in shape. You're working out at home. You're doing all the things, but there's not football shape. Who even knows if this guy was working out at home? Who knows how?
He might have just said those things.
Exactly, because you don't know how functional his hand was for how long a period of time.
Exactly, that the recovery period for losing a finger. I mean, I couldn't imagine. I wouldn't have interest in playing football anymore because I lost my index finger.
Oh yeah.
But money tells all, I guess.
Absolutely, and you know what? You got to try to get it while you can, because I'm sure everyone's heard this. NFL stands for not for long. And you got to get your money while you're there.
Exactly. So, one last thing, and considering the football season's about to start, and you are our unofficial sports expert, we here at the Scott and Smiz show, I'm sure Scott is wondering this as well. He's stuck in traffic somewhere right now. Who do you see winning each division this year? We can go down for the NFC, the NFC East, and so on and so forth, the AFC, so on and so forth.
Well, I'll probably start with the easiest one,
Okay.
the AFC South. All right, because there's not a team above 500 in that division other than the Colts.
It's pretty scary.
And you got Andrew Luck in there. The Colts take that.
And the Colts apparently have one of the easiest schedules.
Because you play in that division.
Exactly.
You've got 6 games against horrendous football teams.
It's it doesn't even have to be a thought. They're just in it.
Yeah, I mean, most teams get their schedule, and you put a little check mark next to the games you think are gimmies, and the Colts have 6 right off the bat.
Easily.
So we're definitely there. We'll move on to the AFC East, and we'll stay in the AFC. As much as I love my New York Jets, Tom's going to come back with a vengeance.
Oh, he's pissed.
Oh, he's mad, and they're hyped, and Bill Belichick's got chalkboard material now. It's the league versus us, and you know what? They're going to come out swinging, and it's going to be scary, folks.
It really is.
They've got nothing to lose right now, and they've got everything to gain, and this isn't a team that just feels entitled because they're coming back from a Super Bowl. This is a team hungry.
I feel like with the Patriots, it's all about, as much as they can be angry, I feel like they need health.
Yeah.
They need to make sure that Julian Edelman stays healthy or gets healthy, and make sure Gronk is the most fragile thing possible, that he does not break in any sort of way, because you need him on that field for all 16 games.
Yeah.
I mean, Brandon LaFell.
He's still not healthy.
Yeah, he needs to get back to work.
You're talking about a dinged-up Patriots team, but I think you're absolutely right with the Rob Gronkowski remark. If Rob Gronkowski plays behind Tom Brady, he's the most important player on this team.
Yep.
If he plays, he's a game changer. Listen, the AFC East is no joke no more. You got to build all the defenses are just incredible now.
Yeah.
All of them have been significantly upgraded, but until they begin to lose, I will not say the Patriots' reign is over.
Definitely not.
So
moving on to the AFC North.
AFC North, we've got the Steelers, we've got the Ravens, we've got the Browns.
I feel like it's a tougher division to really make a decision.
I think 2 teams will definitely make it to the playoffs out of this division, but you know what? The Bengals are still a quarterback away. I can't take them. The Ravens have no receiving corps, and it's really disturbing.
It's unless Steve Smith or go home.
Oh, exactly. So you got to fall. I think the Steelers are looking scary right now. A lot of teams think they'll represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
I really think that they have a very good chance of doing that, because they're just they got all the weapons they need. Once these suspensions go away in the early season, once Le'Veon Bell gets back in there, once Martavis Bryant comes back in as wide receiver number 2 alongside Antonio Brown, they really got so much opportunity. So I definitely would agree with you on that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. They got a firepower on offense and a faster defense, and it's a scary combination.
That's for sure. To top off the AFC, we have the West.
The West. And I think as long as Mr. Manning stays in that division, I know he's got a new coordinator and such, but hey, it's Peyton Manning, and it's the regular season. We're not saying the Super Bowl, folks. We're not saying the playoffs, but as long as he's playing football in the regular season, he's going to win. I think the Broncos are going to win that division.
Does his health worry you at all, though? I mean, the fact that the guy can't feel everything in his throwing hand has got to be something to be concerned about. As much as he's played with that, this guy is is doing his swan song. He's almost done.
Oh yeah, and you know what? There's something to be said about the new offensive coordinator and the new head coach. Mm-hmm. He runs a lot of zone runs, and he runs a lot of bootleg off of that. I think there's a good and a bad. Peyton's got to get adjusted, but when he does, I think you'll see him hit his stride, because he's not going to be throwing as much this year. Sorry to all you fantasy owners. He is definitely not going to be swinging the ball around. You're going to see a lot of C.J. Anderson, a lot of short dink and dunks.
Very glad I drafted him.
Yeah. And I think, you know what, as much as they can put in the kid Brock Osweiler to relieve him in fourth quarters if they're up, they're going to have to. You got to conserve him. But like I said, it's a regular season. He'll get through it. As for the playoffs, when it gets cold, that ball gets heavier. I can't promise anything about that arm anymore. But you're right. He's on. I think this is his last hurrah.
Gotcha. So are we officially determining when it comes to the AFC and who's going to make the Super Bowl on the AFC side? Is it going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers, or do you think that the Colts might have a chance there?
There's a lot of people,
or the Patriots, or the Broncos.
Yeah, right.
These teams that you've picked here.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people singing the Colts tunes, but I still don't buy that defense. They've done a lot of things to improve the offense, the receiving corps, Frank Gore, the timeless running back, But I like the Steelers, man. And like you said, when they come back from their suspensions, look out. Look out.
I think it's another thing, like we've been talking about health. Big Ben, got to stay healthy.
Yeah. But if you heard Bill Belichick's comments this week, he's all of the 241. He said he was that in probably 8th grade. He's a big boy. I don't think he's likely to get hurt. But you know what?
True.
Sometimes when he's trying to keep those plays alive, you're right.
Yeah.
But hey, Michael Vick didn't look so bad either.
That's a good point. That was a very interesting backup choice on their part. So, moving on to the NFC.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with my Giants, who are obviously going to take the NFC East. They're the most broken team you could possibly think of right now. Who do you think is taking the NFC East?
I feel really bad for the Giants because coming off last year and everything
last year was not good either.
Yeah, but there was so much to like. You have Odell Beckham Jr. My God,
a potentially healthy Cruz alongside him.
Exactly.
You could just imagine the
and then in your backfield you got the running horse and
you got Rashad Jennings,
and then you got the great third down back with Shane Vereen coming out the backfield catching the ball.
And that's something that the Giants never really had.
Yes.
Is the ability to have this running back that can also substitute as a receiver.
Absolutely. And you know what? It's so unlike Tom Coughlin. His whole career has been based off of the trenches.
Yep.
And I don't know what happened, but he got cute, and he left what he did well. I apologize. And it's going to cost him his job, in my opinion. I think this year the offensive line's not going to be able to hold up. The defensive line doesn't have Jason Pierre-Paul. The trenches are awful. The secondary's awful. I think it's going to look like a gimpy team unless Odell Beckham and Victor Cruz coming back healthy. Unless that offense can just start to shoot that ball down the field, because they're going to have to make up for what their defense lacks.
So what you're saying is that the Giants are going to make it.
They're definitely
not. They may be third on the totem pole of 4.
I would have taken the Cowboys. I like their trenches this year, especially with Greg Hardy. But you know what? I'm going to go Philly. Philly looks scary.
Can't agree with you because I can never say the Eagles are going to win it all. But you know what? You never know with them.
Yeah.
If Sam Bradford stays healthy, I've been advocating about health this entire time, and that's another situation. I mean, but Mark Sanchez didn't look too bad in the playoffs either because he had to be there for them, even though they didn't make it.
He's a serviceable guy, but you know what? The fact that he has 2 stud running backs behind him, actually 3 if you still consider
Darren Sproles.
I mean, that's a good offense.
It really is. I mean, Chip Kelly has worked his magic in the offseason with some really out there decisions that have somehow worked out perfectly because we see how Nick Foles is playing in St. Louis.
Yeah.
He looks like garbage. Everyone was cursing Chip Kelly when he got rid of Nick Foles. Then you look at Shady McCoy.
Yeah.
Why would you ever get rid of LaShawn McCoy from the Philadelphia Eagles? Look at all the problems that we're having in Buffalo. He might not even start week 1. So there's some things that, fans don't know everything behind the scenes.
No.
So.
But you know what? I will allude just real quickly back to what you said. They better be worried because they took a lot of gamble on health. A lot between Kiki Alonso, between Sam Bradford, between even Mark Sanchez, their backup, There's a lot of guys on this team that has trouble staying healthy.
Should have started Tebow.
Yeah, right? He's back at the network, but that's but yeah, I see the Eagles taking this division. If the Cowboys had a better running game, if they picked up a serviceable guy, I would have taken them, but
right.
Yeah,
It's tough to say.
Yeah.
So, NFC North, who do you got?
NFC North. Oh,
I think it's got to be the Packers.
It's got to be. I mean, the loss of Jordy Nelson's what it is. It's not going to make the season easier.
It's the loss of Jordy Nelson. It's not the loss of Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly.
That makes all the difference because you still got Devontae Adams. You still got Randall Cobb. And, you
got Eddie Lacy.
You got Eddie Lacy.
And that's a big fella, and he can move, and he might be a little more important this year than a running back has been for them in past years.
Right.
It's
going to be interesting to see how that turns out. Now, the NFC South.
The
NFC South, I mean, I can't believe one of those teams made it to the playoffs last year.
This is what they got to figure out with the playoff race. I know you want to see a team from each division, but last year, the Panthers shouldn't have made it, given that they won their first game, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
The wild card round, but
yeah, I believe they did, and just I can't.
It's tough.
You can't like Carolina.
No, they have no receivers.
Right.
None.
Greg Olsen.
Yeah, that's the best receiver.
Greg Olsen is not Rob Gronkowski. I'm sorry, you cannot do that.
And even if he was, Cam Newton's no Tom Brady. So
exactly.
So. And then you got the Atlanta Falcons, who have improved. I like their coach now. They're gonna get a little more. They're gonna get better on defense.
He gave Julio Jones his fat contract. Yep. He's nice and happy now.
You got Matt Ryan, so there's pieces in play.
Mr. Consistency, Matt Ryan. But who's gonna run?
Yeah, you got a rookie and a second-year guy.
And you know what? You're relying mostly on the rookie.
Yeah.
And I think isn't he hurt?
The second-year guy is.
Second-year guy's hurt.
Yes.
Devonta Freeman.
Yes. The Coleman's the one who's going to get the start this week. And we'll see. But and it's sad because you would think Dan Quinn coming out of Seattle was going to rely on the running game. But he's not going to be able to on this team.
So do you see Atlanta doing it?
Well, I don't see Tampa doing it.
That's
and I don't
true.
see Carolina doing it. But we also have the Saints.
That's true.
And I think it's going to be the Saints. The Saints have improved their defense. They took a first-round linebacker that's really coming into his own.
I really like Brandon Cooks, too.
As
a wide receiver.
He's electrifying, man.
Yeah.
And you got him on your fantasy team. I saw that.
Yes.
If you want to make a trade, I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying.
Well, we'll save the negotiations for off the air.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, we have the NFC West.
Yes, the NFC West. And in that division, we have Seattle, then Seattle, then Seattle, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much it. I think you got to go with Seattle.
Yeah.
Because there's not much to really discuss there because this team has made the Super Bowl 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
They don't look that broken from previous years.
Cam Chancellor not. They're going to win that division handedly.
Although I wish Cam Chancellor would go to the New York Giants at this point. He's still available, but
they won't let him go. But hey, Smiz.
And they're coming back heated.
Oh,
They just lost the Super Bowl.
Oh, on one play, and I lost $2,000 on that same play too. So I'm rooting.
I lost the Super Bowl pool thanks to that interception. But yeah, it's definitely it's going to be a real interesting season. Do you see them going back to the Super Bowl?
Do I see them going back to the Super Bowl? I'm gonna go on a limb here, and I'm gonna say that the Eagles stay healthy enough.
Really?
And I'm gonna say that the Philadelphia Eagles find their way to the Super Bowl. I know you do not like this pick. And I apologize.
It's they can make the Super Bowl all they want. They just
don't win it.
Don't win it. They got to stay ringless because you know what? That's all the Giants fans have to talk shit about.
Hey, they're
days.
good. They're good at doing that, so I wouldn't worry much about that.
Exactly. But with that said, we're going to be taking a quick break here. Ollie, thanks for joining us here once again on the sports coverage. I know you got a fantasy draft coming up.
Yeah, a big one.
And I wish you the best of luck on that.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on the show again. This is such a great show. The atmosphere is great. So much fun. Electrifying conversation. Some laughs, Yeah. It's a good time.
Of course. And we'll definitely have you on again in the future. Hopefully next time Scott will be here.
I miss him.
And not caught in traffic.
Yeah.
But when we come back after this quick commercial break, Ollie will be gone, but Scott will be with us.
It's a revolving door here.
Yep, and the Ollie and Smiz show goes off the air, and we'll have the Scott and Smiz show back for you as always. So with that said, Ollie, thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
And we will be right back.
Hey guys, got anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to bring up? Any good topics? Well, if so, or if you have any good feedback, you can see us online at facebook.com/Scott and Smiz.
Well, it's great for you to finally show up, Scott.
And it's nice to be here, Smizzy.
Is it really?
It is nice to be here.
Well, finally, you've been sitting in traffic for how long?
Oh my God, man! I've been in traffic for a while.
Yeah.
For a while, coming down from the New Brunswick area, you know, down near there.
On the turnpike.
On the turnpike, man.
boy.
And they got some different drivers down there, boy.
Yeah.
You know, when things go wrong down there, these people fucking panic and they don't know what to do.
Yep. Rutgers alum, so I definitely know how that feels.
Yeah. Getting off the getting off the turnpike.
Yeah.
And then you get stuck in the traffic.
On Route 18.
Trying to get to 18.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that merge is the worst.
Horrible.
Yeah. But needless to say, now the Ollie and Smiz show is now done after its long run of one entire segment. We are now back to the Scott and Smiz show.
Uh-huh.
Once again, my name is Anthony Smizeski. This guy over here, his name is Scott Lind.
Hello.
And of course, for those of you joining us for the very first time, the Scott and Smiz show is a podcast where the great conversations never stop. And sometimes things can get serious, but we also like to have a little bit of fun on the air. And so anything is possible when you're tuning in.
Anything is possible.
And of course, we got to thank everyone who's liked that Facebook page.
Absolutely. Thank you, everybody, for the likes. And if you can, if you really do like the show, tell somebody about it. Let's see if they like it too.
Yeah. And make sure, what's that Facebook link again? Let's see if he remembers it. Drum roll, please, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be facebook.com/Scott and Smiz.
Congratulations. Every single week keeps getting better. So, we got a lot of headlines to go through now that you have finally arrived.
Uh-huh.
It's been almost a month since we've been on the air, so there's definitely a lot to talk about. One thing that happened was the MTV Video Music Awards.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get a chance to watch them at all?
I watched the very beginning of it. I caught a couple minutes. Me and TV, not too big. I'd rather be out and about doing something.
For what you saw, what did you think of Miley Cyrus as the host of the VMA Awards?
Miley Cyrus, screaming for attention, man. That's it.
What else is new?
Yeah, nothing's really changed, and she's just gonna keep taking clothes off until everybody is looking at her. So.
Yep, it's gonna get funkier by each outfit.
Each outfit.
And speaking of Miley Cyrus, I'm sure even if you didn't see this part, I'm sure you saw the highlights from it, was the, Nicki Minaj calling out Miley Cyrus for some things that Miley Cyrus had said regarding Nicki Minaj's complaints towards MTV and the VMAs. And, Miley Cyrus, I felt in that interview, raised a lot of very interesting points, saying and she also, after Nicki Minaj called her out, kind of raised those points again, it's just an award. Keep in mind, this isn't even the Grammy Awards we're talking about here. We're talking about the MTV Video Music Awards.
It's obviously something that she felt was very important.
Of course.
And she definitely wanted it, but at the end of the day, she got beat out, and that's just what happens.
And she was doing that while accepting the award for Best Rap Video, so go figure.
Yeah. Isn't that something she wanted anyway? Best Rap Video?
Well, that's what I'm saying. She won that award,
that's something she really wanted, though. Right?
She wanted that, but the thing that she was complaining about was that she wasn't nominated for Video of the Year.
Because of Anaconda and all that
Anaconda and all stuff like that, because apparently that's a really artful and insightful video.
I don't fucking think so.
Yeah, I can agree with that as well. Along with that, we also had Kanye West. He accepted the award for the Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award. And he was on the stage for...
I know where you're going with this.
He was on the stage for a grand total of 12 minutes. Yeah. The first 2 minutes, he didn't say a single thing, but just, take in that applause. And then went on what initially sounded like a somewhat structured ad-lib speech, and then just became another rant. Became another classic Kanye West rant, which ended with, oh, by the way, in case you haven't realized it by now, I've officially decided in 2020 to run for president.
Listen, man, I'm going to tell you something right now. I mean,
tell it to me, Scott. Tell it to me.
It's questionable, if Trump gets elected, okay? Obviously, a lot of people are saying, I don't like Trump. I'm fucking out of here if Trump becomes president, whatever. Mm-hmm. Everybody has their own opinion.
Of course.
All right. I'm telling you, first fucking hand. All right. If Kanye West goes up in that fucking White House, I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gone.
Well, you don't think he was actually serious, do you?
Who knows? This guy calls himself fucking Jesus. You know, who the fuck knows?
I mean, I have my doubts on that, but the funny thing is that Donald Trump wants him to run. And he said, I love Kanye West. You know, I only talk about people that talk bad about me, and Kanye West says very good things about Trump. That's what he was saying in response to that. He would love to run against him sometime in 2020.
Yeah, and then we'll see the shit that comes out of Donald Trump mouth then.
But after the Video Music Awards, we also have other stuff going on in music, or stuff that's not going on in music, which is Frank Ocean's album. Are you a fan of Frank Ocean, Scott? Have you listened to him at all?
I mean, I've listened to a couple of his tracks. I'm not an avid fan, but I can definitely respect the music.
Okay, so so he hasn't come out with an album in about 3 years. In March, he announced that he was going to be coming out with an album in July. July comes around, nothing happens.
Okay.
August happened, and still no album.
Yeah.
And we still have no release date, no nothing, no information. Even his brother decided to rickroll all Frank Ocean fans by saying he had the new Frank Ocean album and then proceeded to rickroll them. So that was a little odd.
Well,
what do you think about artists that are really going to try to, not take their fans as seriously as they should in that regard? I know it was his brother.
Yeah,
I know it was a joke, but
I know he's definitely got people that are seriously like waiting
right.
on that music, but
yeah,
just like everybody else, and it's been said before, these guys are artists, and some of them take a long time to do their work, and look at it this way: the guy's gonna put out a song. All right, when he puts it out, it doesn't matter how many times he changes it. It's still gonna be listened to by the whole world.
People are gonna love it.
They're gonna love it, and he's gonna want them to love it, and he's gonna want them to love it the way he wants it. He doesn't want to put something out there that he doesn't like, and Frank Ocean, takes himself very seriously as far as him being an artist in the music world, and I can respect that, and I can respect his music and stuff like that, because it's got a certain touch to it. It's good shit, and the man needs some time. He wants to take his time putting the shit out. Let him put it out.
I'm all for someone delaying a release date. My whole thing is that you should say something to your fans as to hey, sorry. Want to make this album perfect for you guys. Gonna need a little more time. Sorry, I was a little off on July. So that's my whole thing with it. I feel like, you see that with a lot of, especially a lot of rappers will always constantly delay their album, but they'll at least keep you updated on it. In some
well, yeah, that's because they like to talk, man. That's because they like to fucking talk.
That's a very good point.
And Frank Ocean doesn't talk.
Yeah.
He lays it down.
So, on to a little bit more serious things. Have you heard at all about this controversy that's gone on in Kentucky over marriage licenses for gay couples?
I honestly haven't heard a thing about it.
Really?
Not a thing.
Not a thing.
I've been not watching TV the past couple of days.
Well, you know what? You'll be a fresh set of eyes or a fresh set of ears on this story then, because I'll break it down for you a little bit.
Break it down.
There's a county clerk in Rowan County, Kentucky.
All right.
She is the one responsible for issuing all marriage licenses. According to a Supreme Court ruling this summer, gay marriage is now legal in all 50 states, and now all these county clerks must issue said marriage licenses.
Okay, so basically they're the people you got to go see. You want to get married?
Exactly. You need to go see them if you live in that county.
Okay.
So she is someone who is very religious, sticks very much to her beliefs, her Christian beliefs, and has refused to give out any of these marriage licenses to gay couples, refuses to have her name on any of those licenses. And it got to a point, and keep in mind, she appealed to the court. The court refused her stay, or turned down her stay, and said, you have to give out these licenses. She still did not do so. So she was sent back to court, which then put her in jail because she was in contempt of court.
Okay.
So obviously this led to a big uproar, especially among the Bible Belt and a lot of people who disagree with gay marriage being legal.
Yeah.
And turned this into a big issue of religious freedom. And turned this into a big issue of that. And even people like Republican presidential candidate Mike Huckabee, who is a pastor, going down there saying things along the likes of that he was willing to go to jail in her place, kind of exploiting her in a sense.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a little bit extreme. Meanwhile, a lot of Republicans, including people like frontrunner Donald Trump, saying, the law is the law. You have a job. Your job's to give out marriage licenses. If you don't agree with the law, and the court gave her this option, you can resign from that position.
Exactly.
She chose not to and went to jail for it. So, what's your take on this whole thing, considering that you're just hearing this for the very first time?
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting, and unfortunately, sad in some points, because in 2015, I mean, I don't care if you like gay people or not. It's 2015. There's a lot of stuff going on, and whether you like it or not, gays are accepted in 2015.
Right.
Especially among younger generations. There's
absolutely.
We went to school with plenty of people that were gay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't have a problem calling a gay guy my friend. Some people might feel some sort of way that obviously I'm not gonna want to be hit on by a dude.
Right.
But I respect everybody's decision and the route they want to take. Now in other places and people maybe of a different age range or just different opinion,
just different backgrounds
altogether. You're absolutely right. Is it understandable that this lady doesn't want to give out marriage licenses? Maybe if you asked that question 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plenty of people would say it's understandable. And by today's standards, I'm sorry. That's not understandable. And, fuck this guy talking about going to jail in place of her. You know what I mean?
I feel like he's literally just using this so he can try to win over evangelicals who are a big part of the Republican base and do vote.
And it's not fair to... You want to hold back, somebody's life and the progression in someone's relationship just because you don't agree with them on your religious views.
Right.
That's not fair.
And they try to keep using, religious freedom as an excuse here, but the whole thing is that, you're not preventing this woman, Kim Davis, from believing what she believes in. Not at all. The government is not preventing her from doing that. But she works for the government, and she has a specific job.
And the law is the law.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, that's all that matters.
And you need to...
Like you said, she was given the choice to resign.
Right.
She chose not to. She chose to continue doing her job. Okay? And she neglected these people of their rights. Gay or not, they still have fucking rights.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So...
And that's what marriage equality is today in America.
That's what it is. Plenty of people fought for it, and they got it.
Yep. And it's the law of the land.
Exactly.
So, I'm honestly surprised. We have these headlines down here of things to talk about. And when we first debuted the Scott and Smiz show back in the beginning of the summer of 2015 here, I honestly thought Donald Trump would just be a story of the week, story of the month maybe, just a big thing.
I definitely could not see us talking about him this far down the line.
This guy is still leading the Republican primary candidates by far. No one can match him.
No, wait, I actually want to ask you something.
Okay.
Do you think, since we've had our first conversation, overall in his actions, in his demeanor, in his attitude, do you think he's changed in any such way?
He has not changed, and I think that's why people like him. People like that he toes a hard line. Any offensive, absurd comment that any person would try to defend or say, or apologize for and say my comments were taken out of context, my context taken out of line.
He'll stand up and be proud of it.
He's standing his ground on every single absurd thing that he has to say. So it's really baffling to think that with the things that he has said, whether it's going after John McCain saying he's not a war hero, calling Mexicans illegal immigrants, criminals, and rapists. Things that he said when he was just, bringing out his campaign for the very first time. The things he said about Megyn Kelly on Fox News. The things that we've talked about for all these previous episodes.
The real question is, do you think he's going to make it to the general election?
It's really tough to say. One thing that was concerning a lot of Republicans was the fact that he wasn't officially undecided on whether or not he was going to run as a third-party candidate outside of the Republican Party, because he felt that in certain instances that the Republican Party wasn't treating him fairly, and that if the people wanted him to be president, he would run regardless. He has the money to do it, so why not? He now has signed a pledge that he's going to stay within the Republican Party. Now, this pledge has as much strength as me saying Scout's honor, and that being held true.
Also talking about Donald Trump here.
Exactly. He can backtrack on those statements, as much as he wants to and give good reason as to do so.
And as we're talking right here, all right, we're talking about how he can easily get himself out of something as easy as a pledge.
Yep.
Okay. Is that somebody we really want in the White House?
No.
So why?
I think there's just plenty of...
Why are we letting him go this far?
Well, it's not us. It's not me and you. I think that it has a lot.
America.
It has a lot to do with not just America. It has to do with the media. It has to do with the fact that the media has to break news every single time that this guy has a press conference because they want to know what he says next. But just because that he is this reality star, and this whole summer has just been a giant reality show of Trump mania, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the guy you want in the White House, running things, being the man in charge.
I honestly don't think he's gonna make it, and if he does, I'd be thoroughly surprised.
Because it would be one thing just to be, baffled to see him win the Republican primary, beat out the other 16 candidates that are currently running. Majority of them have held at least one political office.
Yeah.
But yet, the two guys leading the primary right now have never held a political office. It's him and Dr. Ben Carson. They never have.
That's what really gets me worried.
And people like that. People like that they're not a seasoned politician. But these people are your typical low information voters.
Last time we voted for a president, we voted for change. Okay. This time, we're obviously voting for change.
It's a different type of change.
It's a
whole
different type of change. And it's a lot of different generations coming up fighting for what they think is right and, what they think should be a part of the American society.
Right.
Now, there are certain people in that election that, I think about what I just said and how they'd involved themselves as a president. And, I think of Donald Trump as the guy who, he might please the people of today, but it's never going to leave the back of my mind that he might also be making decisions based upon a business venture.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Figure it this way. This man's got all this money now. He's obviously a very successful businessman. Now you get somebody like that that's a president.
Mm-hmm.
And a president has control over a lot of things.
A lot of things.
A very heavy influence. I'm going to bring it up, man, because these are the things that I think about.
Yeah.
Not the average person, I know everybody thinks about different shit, but,
See, this whole thing of Trump telling it like it is, and I see this, for a lot of the local people listening here in New Jersey, a lot of people I know who support Trump because he tells it like it is. But you know who tells it like it is? The guy has it in his damn campaign slogan. It's Chris Christie. And I'm
not a fan of him, man.
And even people who were supporters of Trump are not a fan of Chris Christie.
Yeah.
So how could you tell me that you like a candidate who tells it like it is when you already voted for one who tells it like it is, and more than half of the state despises him, wants him to leave office
the
immediately.
whole state knows they fucked up when they voted for Chris Christie.
Right. And I think, that's a totally different story, and I feel that a lot of that had to do with the fact that we learned a lot more about Chris Christie after he got the second election.
Yeah.
The Bridgegate and everything.
Listen, it's different because we have an opinion of Chris Christie.
A very local opinion.
I have a very personal opinion on Chris Christie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
A lot of things.
A very personal opinion, and if Chris Christie ever did listen to this,
mm-hmm.
You're a fucking douchebag, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're out hugging fucking football owners instead of being at a local policeman's funeral that passed away.
And that was even before he decided.
And that was
to run.
big. Forget about it being local news. That's big. That's a fallen police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with what's going on today, everybody's lives matter, okay? And especially the campaign for Blue Lives, the guys who are out there fighting every day for our freedoms and to make sure we're safe.
Right.
All right, we lost a young guy, and not only that, we lost a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy was out here at a fucking Dallas football game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Fuck that. I know this guy. I know him on a personal note. He wants to be out making friends with somebody in Dallas.
Yeah. Go
ahead. Enjoy your time in fucking Dallas.
Yeah.
You're not getting my vote to get in the White House.
Absolutely not. And that's why he continues
yeah.
to slip in the polls. Because I assume, especially a lot of people are from New Jersey who are listening to us here on the Scott and Smith Show. Shout out to fellow New Jerseyans, thank you for listening to us, by
Shout.
the way. And with that said, Chris Christie has nearly been, since his second term, and a lot of this is thanks to his presidential campaign, has been out of the state campaigning for almost an entire year. If you combine the amount of days since he began, he's been campaigning for his presidential run because he knows that he's pretty much done in New Jersey after his term is up. Whether it's term limits or even if there was the ability to run again, he's not going to win. And keep in mind, he's spending tons and tons of taxpayer money on his security team to escort him around these other states while he campaigns to run for president. It's just a collective amount of just bad things here in New Jersey. And
Don't let me catch him on the street when he doesn't have security, dude.
yeah, no kidding.
I mean, fucking dirtbag.
But now moving on from the circus that is the Republican Party and their primary, there's actually this other party that's trying to run for president, and actually that party, they're in the White House right now. They won 2 terms in the White House. Did you hear about that, Scott?
I did.
And the Democrats, this other party, I don't know, it's pronounced Democrat. They have some candidates running, some very popular candidates, some very controversial candidates. Maybe not as controversial as Donald J. Trump, but I think that's a good thing. We have people like Bernie Sanders, who definitely has some radical ideas, definitely some socialist ideas, but not necessarily. But people try to associate socialists.
What about
with a
Joey
bad thing.
Biden?
You got Joey Biden, who our current vice president, who is really considering a run at the White House. He still hasn't decided. Unfortunately, his son passed away of brain cancer very, very recently, and that is kind of something that's been weighing upon him, allegedly, while Beau Biden, his son, was on his deathbed, wanted his father to run for president.
So
Now,
he's gonna do it.
so, but you would think, but at the same time, he's got to weigh in the fact, does he want to put his family through that sort of thing? Because a presidential campaign, as you can see from all these other people, it's not an easy thing to go through. People dig. People look for dirt. And Joe Biden has said some pretty oddball things that have been recorded. So he could easily, be thrown under the bus. His career could be tarnished from this run. He's had 2 successful terms in the White House as vice president with Barack Obama. But he's a very likable guy at the same time. He also has that tells it like it is sort of attitude. I mean, you saw hints of that when Barack Obama was running against Mitt Romney in 2012. They had a vice presidential debate, which was between him and Mitt Romney's running mate Paul Ryan, and Joe Biden kicked his ass. It's just no doubt. And the way that he debated was very just like your average guy just talking politics, but in a smart manner. So it's really just a question of, is he going to do it? And is he willing to do it?
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to see continuing updates on that. So now, moving on from politics, the last thing we have down on here for this edition of the Scott and Smiz Show, since it's the very end of the summer of 2015, it's been a very interesting year to say the least, is the end of summer review. Now, what do you have to say about the end of summer review?
How about those fucking gas prices?
How about those gas prices?
Those gas prices.
Well, for New Jersey?
Yeah. Nobody else. I mean, New York's screwed.
Everyone else is screwed.
Yeah.
And you guys don't even have to pump. You guys have to pump your own gas.
Yeah.
We don't have to pump our own gas, and it's cheap.
We didn't even get out.
It's not bad.
Hang out inside. Besides that, man, I don't know. This summer went by real fast. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people say that. Summer went by real quick. A lot of crazy things happen. I don't know. Every time I think of summer, I think like beaches and sharks and shit.
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to think about anything really political because that's just not the kind of person I am.
I mean, no matter how many times you see Donald Trump, you can't even just say that the summer's all political. Anyway, gas prices are great. Summer was great. Weather was good. Hope winter's good. Like a lot of snow. That you do.
I like my snow.
You dirty Canadian.
Nah, man, it's beautiful. I like the winter a lot more than summer though, because you can always get warmer. You can get cooler inside.
Yeah.
You know, outside you can just make sure you got enough layers on. You'll be all right.
Is that the weather forecast for Scotland over here?
Well, I'm just trying to make sure everybody's ready for winter. Okay.
So, end of summer review. That's what you got for us. You looked at the end of the summer. You said beaches
Gas
and
prices.
gas.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow, you had a fucking great summer, didn't you? Holy shit. Man, I'm fucking jealous.
Yeah.
All I did was go to the beach and pump my gas.
Oh, shit.
You see what happens now?
What?
You see what happens when you look at an entire season in a nutshell? And that's what you thought?
Fucking gas prices.
Fucking gas prices.
Fantastic.
Man. Fucking thanks, Obama.
And I got a car that's going gas now.
Oh, well, congratulations. It's just in. Scott Lind has a new car.
I'm saving the world.
Saving the world every single day. Twice on Sunday.
26 miles a gallon at a time, you know?
Ain't you moving up in the world?
I'm moving up. Better than fucking 16. Fucking
Oh, yeah, you used to drive.
16 on the highway.
On the
That's what I used to get.
Well, that's because you were... Scotland has upgraded to a... What year Dodge Neon?
It's an SRT4. I used to be living in the lap of luxury, driving a 96 Lincoln Continental.
Car lingo.
Yeah. And that was like driving your living room down the street, and it was a...
It still had a phone in it, didn't it?
It had a full phone.
A full-on phone.
With a fucking cord attached to the bottom. It was a house phone in the car with a holder.
Never are you going to need that.
Yeah, but that was a 96, man. That was a good ride. Good ride. Tint so dark you didn't know if it was light or day outside, you know what I'm saying?
Straight up gangster.
That's how I felt when I did that, so... you know, it is what it is, but...
Ah, yeah. I feel you.
Anyway, way off topic.
Well, the topic is the end of summer review here. And you've currently reviewed the summer with gas prices, your new car...
And winter.
And winter. So, keep in mind, if you're ever looking for a good recap of the summer, call Scotty Lind.
It'll be quick.
And tweet him at LindScotty.
Yeah.
You can tweet me at SMIZZZZY.
Definitely gonna fuck up those Z's.
Yeah. Well, that's why I gotta count them every single time I say it. Because I know I'll fucking say like 5 Z's, 3 Z's, 2 Z's. That's what it's fucking supposed to be. So, yeah. With that said, this has been another edition of the Scott and Smiz Show.
Another edition. Another edition of the Scott and Smiz Show.
Scott, you look a little tired there, don't you?
A little tired.
Why are you tired?
I've been driving.
You've
been driving. I've been driving.
You've been driving.
Grabbing gears with my RPMs ripping. I've been driving.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
So, as I was saying.
Yep.
This has been another edition of the Scott and Smiz Show. Of course, my name is still Smizzy.
And it's your boy Scotty Lind over here.
Of course. And, of course, you can check us out on the Facebook page. I got it this time. Don't you worry about it. It's facebook.com/Scott.
What?
/Scott. Yeah. /Scott and Smiz. /Scott and Smiz. Straight up sabotage here.
Yep.
Way to sabotage your own show. Congratulations.
It's facebook.com/Scott and Smiz.
Oh, boy. Like us. Please. We want to be liked. You want to like us a lot. Don't be Scott.
Yeah, I like to be liked.
Yeah. Being liked
That's a nice thing.
Because you can't love us, so.
No.
And you can't hate us.
Because if you said you loved us, you'd be lying.
Exactly. Be completely full of shit.
You'd be a thought.
Oh, boy.
Fucking thoughts.
Man, Scott, you are a human plane crash.
Ah.
Gotta love you. Gotta love you.
Oh, no.
We'll be back sooner than later with our next episode of the Scott and Smiz Show. Who knows what the hell's gonna happen that time?
Coming live from a basement in New Jersey.
It's not live though.
It's not live though.
What's the name of the show?
The Scott and Smiz Show.
Thank you for rehashing our lovely intro. But we've already gone on too far. Thanks again to Oliver Rached for joining us in the first segment to discuss sports.
And I'm sorry I was late.
Yeah, sure you are. You are a liar.
Thought.
You are a liar. And you keep saying that. That's your cop out. I know that. That's your cop out.
You're a thought.
You're a fucking thought. All right.
Ah!
We're out of here.
Ah!
See you next time.